Hi everyone, welcome to Frappes in Frequency. So guys, today I'm officially mic'd up. I don't know how good the sound quality actually is. I've not used this microphone before. It is a bit of a cheapie. I just wanted to kind of test what the sound quality would be like. So I hope that it is impeccable for you guys and that it's not scratchy or anything like that, but we shall soon find out, won't we? So today is going to be, well, we're going to be sitting with the energy of July, which is based on the card that I drew in December of 2025. I do feel like those numbers, something in December is significant here because I keep slipping up these. It's a very interesting energy. I'm just gonna say that. I feel like I always say it's an interesting energy, but it legit is. Just even getting started took a freaking long time to get started, which is not always uncommon, but today it kind of is because I've got the time to do it. So yeah, I'm seeing the word trips as well. So I'm not too sure if there's some kind of tripping up or falling over or yeah, I'm not certain. We'll see what comes through. But how about we do what we do in this space, slow the F down, chill the fuck out for a minute, and just ground our energy. So, if you are new to the space, welcome here. We do go slow, and that is very intentional. And if you are returning watcher, welcome back. And if you are subscribed, thank you so much for your subscriptions. It's really nice to know that there are people out there that resonate with this message or who appreciate long form, slow content the way that I do. And interesting as I'm saying that, I'm thinking about a series of videos I've been watching lately, sitting with, listening to, and funnily enough, it's about decluttering. And I say funnily enough because, well, anyway, that's a tangent I might go into somewhere else. But yeah, let's pull back a sec, take a deep breath, and um, yeah, tune into the vibe of July 2026. So I'm not sure if I've said this in this take. Forgive me if I have. The number eight has some kind of significance here. I'm not sure what yet, but interestingly enough, when you flip the eight on its side, it is an infinity symbol. So there's something to do with that because as I was writing it out, that's what I drew. So we'll see what comes through. And again, there's a very chatty freaking energy about. So I'm going to take some deep breaths. I invite you to do the same. Let's slow down and pause for a minute. And if I haven't already invited you to do grab a cuppa, we do chill out in the space. So yeah, I've just got normal coffee today with some cream because why the hell not? And let's take some damn deep breaths. So if you need to adjust yourself and move the body, I hope that wasn't too loud on the sound. Then by all means do so. I just feel like there needs to be a little bit of support, particularly with the back. So if you need to adjust, by all means. And just forget about everything else that is going on around you right now. You have selected to watch this video, so I do invite you to honor the now, honor the the receiving of whatever gets spoken to here. And I say interesting because reception, or what is the word? Receiving was one of the words that came through. But in order to do that, we need to be still. So just taking one more deep belly breath here. And when you're ready, if your eyes are shut, as mine is, then slowly bringing your awareness back to the screen. Now, I'm looking for, maybe you're looking for something. Maybe there's something that needs to be found or wants to be found. I don't know. I'm also just aware of how loud that slurping might be. I'm generally a pretty loud slurper. So a little bit of TMI there. So hopefully, yeah, it's not too loud. But anyway, let's get cracker lacking. So I might start with the Sacred Symbols deck. Just being mindful of where you are placing your energy right now. Where you may be giving too much energy, or on the flip side, where you may not be giving enough attention or giving enough attention to. So, I mean, the card is quite self-explanatory, right? Balance. Trying to pull it up so I can show you. Quite self-explanatory. But I do feel like there is more to it. When we speak to balance, and this is what was kind of mentioned when I was inviting you to take a deep breath in. When we're sitting with the concept of balance, especially that symbol, the yin yang symbol, it speaks to equal reception, equal give and take, right? So equal receiving, equal giving, or balanced aspects. Like in the yin part, there is a bit of yang, and in the yang, there is a bit of yin. So generally, when we talk about bringing yourself to balance or being in balance, I guess we really have to sit with what that means for us, like actually reflect on what that means for us in a deep and meaningful way, not on a surface level. And yet the reciprocation aspect of it, and where receiving comes in, is that sometimes we do give a lot of ourselves, right? Generally, people do tend to give a lot of themselves and then have difficulties with receiving, even though we might complain that we don't get enough, or we're not receiving enough, or someone's not giving enough to us. There needs to be a certain level of receptivity to begin with. I hope that makes sense. I'm just speaking to what's here in the moment. I'm also getting first of all, getting some sort of ache in the upper left hand side, which is the feminine side, and that's irrespective of gender. It's just a description of the quality of energy, if you will. And I will speak to that a little bit more, because when you're in receiving, you are in the feminine state, right? Or you're in the frequency of the feminine, so to speak. So generally, masculine is the masculine energy or archetype or paradigm, however you want to frame that, is of a giving nature, and being in the feminine energy is being receptive, receiving. And in order to do that, there needs to be balance, there needs to be calm, There needs to be a state of stillness. Okay, anyway, I'm going to continue. Okay, interesting. The way the cards were just shuffled was back to front. I'm not sure if that... You know, perhaps there is an aspect of yourself, or whatever the situation entails in July, or the energy of July speaking to flipping it up, changing the energy, or it's already happening. The energy is flipping from one aspect or one way of being to another way of being, and I'm hearing doing, being. So maybe the collective is going through a process of pulling back. You know, there was a certain amount of very excitable meh energy, and I don't mean meh as in yuck. I mean like verbal diarrhea, like just wants to get everything out and is excited and ramped up. But there may be some sort of shift where either it's kind of balancing out now. There's this level of not neutrality, even though I'm hearing that word, because people, there's a misconception about being neutral. It's just stillness, it's just peace. So there's possibly the collective is going through this, I'm hearing archetypal shift, where instead of being that person who's constantly doing stuff or trying to make things happen, we are now moving into a state of being receptive, allowing grace, God, universe, source, however you frame that, to show us the way. So we're not pushing anymore. We're in a space of, you know what, let's allow whatever needs to play out, and also just trust that the way that it's playing out, it was always going to happen that way. I feel this is very interesting and important because the last video, well, not the last video that I recorded, which is not live yet, but the video prior to that, which one was that? I don't recall, but I was speaking about or mentioning that a little bit in that video, so I'm not sure what relevance that has. I am seeing the spiritual cleansing card as well, so as well as power, spiritual cleansing, divinity. I do feel on a collective level, and I have been saying this for a while, that we are going through this process of really, well, surrendering. That was spoken about in the last video. Surrendering and allowing and just trusting, and also reflecting on what surrender actually means. And I think I spoke about a little bit about, let's see if it comes back. What surrendering is not. Interesting. Let's see. I will hold space for that and see if that comes back. But let's get into the cards because we're now 14 minutes in, and okay, so let's get two more. Wonder how loud these cards are going to sound on this, with this microphone. Okay, I don't know why, but I'm hearing that song Telephone by Lady Gaga and Beyonce. Possibly because I said the word microphone, but I will note that anyway. Maybe check it out later. Trying to think of... Okay, and I'm wanting to shuffle again, so... As in, like, shuffle, clearing energy. maybe this has got to do with communication, or waiting for communication of some sort, or receiving. Oh dear, receiving. I'm so sorry, that was super loud and gave you a big fat fright. I have a feeling, a strange feeling, that at the time of this recording, that Mercury is in retrograde, but we've also just had the massive full moon on the 30th. It is officially the 1st of July at the time of this recording. We've just had the full moon, so we're still in that full moon energy, and which is about releasing, right? But also Gemini, sorry, okay, maybe Gemini is important here. Gemini is actually, oh, Gemini, I feel like Mercury is Gemini's ruler. But anyway, Gemini is to do with communication, with networks, and being social and that sort of thing. Oh, sugars. So why did I say Gemini? Interesting. Okay, Gemini. Yeah, all right. That just came out of nowhere, but okay. So this is going to be the painful part. It's like if I need to adjust, it might be a bit loud. So might have to figure something else out, like place it in front of me or something to that effect. Okay. Let's have a look. Oh, okay. So that power card just came back out. Let's pull some more. What else do we want? I might pull from this one, seeing as the word Gemini came out. So yeah, so okay, let's take a pause, because it is actually no freaking surprise that the word Gemini came out of my mouth, because Gemini is a very freaking chatty energy. So I'm not sure if you are Gemini or you resonate with that somehow, or what is the relevance of Gemini? We've just left Gemini season, have we? Yes, June, July. We've just left Gemini season into Cancer season. And so yeah, that's what it's feeling like. This very chatty, energetic, have to speak, have to say something energy. And yeah, the telephone, the communication. So there's something to do with that. Interesting. Also, what I was actually trying to say before the Gemini word came out was that Jupiter is entering Leo as of the 30th of June. So that is going to be a big shift in the way that we show up. I did say Jupiter into Leo. Yeah, Jupiter into Leo. And obviously it's going to affect different people differently. Leo being a sign ruled by the sun. So how you perhaps, and I'm seeing the word ascendant and entrance, interesting, because Leo is my ascendant, and also first house arrival. Okay, this energy needs to calm the fuck down. All right. Okay. Jupiter enters Leo. So yeah, that's going to shift things quite tremendously, actually, because it's a transit that happens every, I believe, 12 to 13 years, which I find very fascinating, because when I was looking at this card that came out, and it's the Good Fortune card, I see the number 13 that was like in the mind. There's something about the number 13. And so, and 13 together is 4, which is half of 8. So that's like a balancing thing there as well. And Gemini being the twins as well. So there's definitely some type of message about balancing. Yeah, so check where your where Leo is in your chart, but also check where Gemini is in your chart. just out of interest, not something to live by or be led by. It just offers like a different perspective or a different way of seeing things, maybe a pattern of some sort. Okie dokie. Yeah, lots of deep as breaths. Um, the other things that came through was perfectionism, and maybe there's an aspect in this collective that is quite getting this like, it's not quite sharp, but it's not blunt either. Pain behind the left eye. Maybe left eye Lopez, because I don't know why she's coming through, is relevant somewhere. Maybe it's reminding you of childhood. Left eye, which is again the feminine side. But generally, when we're talking about that infinity symbol that I mentioned before, uh, there speaks of a union, but it speaks of two different energies coming together, right? So balancing. I'm hearing meeting in the middle. What's going on with these cards? So current energy right now is we're sitting here. There's something in the nature of power, maybe a power imbalance. Oh, there we are. There we freaking are. Mercury. Messages. I also want to say, be mindful of what it is that you're consuming right now, particularly of a political nature. I do find this so interesting because there are some people that I follow on YouTube. I'm not on social media, but I do have obviously a YouTube account. So I do follow some people on YouTube, some quite political, and then others informative, but there are some political aspects of it. A lot of them I've actually unfollowed over the course of the last couple of days leading up to or after the full moon. Why, I don't know, but I just do not resonate with not the person, not what they're speaking about, just the frequency of it, and the loudness of it. I hope that makes sense. So perhaps this collective is also shifting perspectives in the way of stepping away from all of the loudness, like, and I'm getting that like a headachy feeling over here as I'm saying this. It's almost like it's not our fight, but it is our fight, and perhaps where we can put our energy is somewhere more productive than maybe going all in Gemini style, just interesting. I'm gonna leave that there, but I want to keep moving on and pulling from the deck. But there's something about messages, perhaps even messaging around power. Very interesting similarities here. I don't know if you can see that, because I feel like that's the staff of Horus or something. Where is that deck explanation? 20. Oh, interesting. Interesting, because I was looking for card 20, but I'm looking at the wrong deck, and the card is Divinity. And I did say that before. It's like a power balance of, for some, in some aspects, or maybe some will understand the phrasing of light versus dark, good versus evil, so to speak. So I'm looking at this yin yang card as well, like a power play of energies. But the actual number I'm looking for is not that. So that was a bit interesting there. 46. The crown of Isis, and sometimes the crown of Hathor, my bad, is made out of a sun disk cradled in cow's horns. The sun and the cow were both worshipped in ancient Egypt as symbols, oh my god, of the different but equal powers of feminine and masculine. Okay, interesting. Because we've been talking about the feminine and the masculine. So very, very interesting. So yeah, oh my god, bra strap. Any women out there like me that absolutely hate wearing freaking bras? I don't know why I'm wearing one right now. TMI for my for the guys watching this, but it's horrible. Hate it with a flying freaking passion. Okay. I'm being also drawn to Pluto for some reason, which is speaks to transformation. Okay, also speaks to power. So I do. Pluto's in Aquarius at the moment. So, but there is something about Pluto. Okay, let's keep going. I hope this is making sense. I know it seems kind of all over the place, right? Yeah, oh my god, check this card out. So there are two snakes on this card. One is lighter and one is darker, and it's like they're going at each other. What's that symbol mean again? It's Mercury. And obviously this is not to say people are these, I mean, this could be about conflict. This could well be about conflict where it seems like a power struggle. So this is happening right now. And then we've also got the communication card. It did come out in the reverse, which is how I read that section anyway. Okay, this is interesting, okay, because what's kind of maybe challenging us or providing some opportunity for growth or perspective shift is safe travel. And then we've got the conjunction alliance card here. And in this card, we've got these, what are they? Ducks? Some sort of flying bird. Some sort of flying bird. Well, that was weird because most birds do fly. But it's like they're migrating. And then we've got safe travel. Why is this the thing that is challenging or providing an opportunity for perspective shift? I do. This is very interesting because I'm seeing in this card, and I'm obviously reading the word alliance, but I'm seeing in these cards this intersection of sorts, right? And maybe I'll pull some more about this, but I feel like what it could be speaking to here is a need to bring that balance in to be able to move forward. I kind of want to read what that alliance card says, even if it's a little bit. 51. What are we at? I've just seen 30:30 on the clock, so it's a bit interesting. Okay. Anytime two celestial bodies, maybe see what's conjuncting right now. That might be a deeper note for some that understand astrology. Anytime two celestial bodies conjunct, meaning they dance close together, they first work together and blend meaning and purpose, then begin a new cycle of their relationship. But sun and moon conjunct at the new moon. Huh? Oh, the sun and moon conjunct at the new moon. But because the sun is overpoweringly huge, it has special rules. Planets are so tiny to compare to the sun that when they are close, within 8 degrees of the sun, bruh, they seem to disappear or combust and lose individual power. But when planets exactly conjunct the sun, their strength merges and grows within the heart of the sun. The conjunction tells us we are stronger when we work together. That's the message. As long as we don't disappear into another's flame. And maybe that's what this challenging part is that we're getting lost in either. We're not actually meeting each other halfway. Action. Co-conspire. Find people and allies who support your ideas, as this is not a situation in which to go alone. Bring in someone with an extra skill to offer to your project. Find the best friend to discuss your concerns with or spark off new partnership. Watch the energy build as you bounce ideas off of each other. Just take care of your own energy fields and ideas in this process. Um, yeah. Yep, that's pretty much what I felt. So I'm glad that I actually read a bit further to get some more clarity on that. Yeah, we have to work together. Absolutely. And like find the middle ground, find the balance, right? Instead of projecting our shit onto each other, find the find the middle ground. Right, let's almost lost that one. We've got solar flare. So interesting. Interesting. The card is actually solar calm, but I said solar flare, which is the opposite to one another. Clarify. I do want to pull some more cards before I move on. Maybe we can get some tarot if that aligns. Just saw 3322. Yeah, I might leave the last pile till the endish. Uh, Before I was reading, I don't actually know if I said this before, but one of the words that came through was perfectionism, and um, the word like as in filler words. I'm not sure why that came through. Uh, Perhaps a part of it was to speak to that perfectionism piece where, wow, I'm seeing the word balance again. The perfectionism piece of feeling like something has to be perfect before you do something. You know, maybe whatever this aspect of meeting people halfway or meeting people where they're at without judgment is the the connection piece to the perfectionism, as in we feel like we have to have everything sort of put together, or everything has to align or seem. Yeah, it's very interesting. I want to hold space for this because there's definitely something here. Perhaps the challenge is the communicating as well, like communicating your needs, communicating perfectly, quote unquote, perfectly what it is that you want in order to make this happen. And I do feel like what perfectionism doesn't get right is the vulnerability piece, right? Being a perfectionist or operating from a space of perfectionism doesn't allow for that vulnerability, where that vulnerability is so important, because that's how we connect to one another, right? That is how we can actually relate to one another and go, oh my gosh, this person's actually completely human. Like, I totally get what you're saying. I've been there. I might not have experienced that part exactly, but I completely get where you're coming from. I understand what you're trying to say, and maybe that's the piece, that's the connection piece. So I'm hearing that phrase, birds of a feather flock together. Maybe you're not a bird, right? Maybe you're a freaking frog on land, and you see the birds and you're like, but I also want to fly. And it's like, well, you can't because you're a frog, but you provide something else. You can bring something else to the table that is also of value. You might not be able to move as fast, but hey, I'm also being reminded of this thing that I learned. I don't actually know how I came across this. It might have been in psychology class at uni. When we generally, as humans, tend to, and I don't know how true this is just something that came through at that point of my life, and it kind of stuck with me. When we're choosing friends generally, or when we have this friend circle, our friends are generally have aspects of them that we don't have. So, for example, if you're quite a shy person, you have a friend who is quite out there and vivacious and extroverted, that's a piece of yourself that you're seeing. And I'm actually starting to click to that now, like, oh shit, that's actually making so much sense in the ways of how we mirror each other, like how we unconsciously reflect aspects of one another. So yeah, there's something about not judging the process or not judging each other, just seeing and meeting each other where we are at, because we each have something valuable to provide to whatever it is that we're exploring. Jesus. Yes, I'm bringing it back to reciprocation and receiving, and maybe that is something that is perhaps that is something that needs to be worked on or looked at or reflected or contemplated on, is that, are you in a space of receiving either information from someone that doesn't that you don't how does that want to be said, that you perhaps have nothing or seemingly nothing in common with, or are you receiving help or assistance or guidance from someone who doesn't who's not in your social circles, or not in your, the group of people you would generally hang around with or talk to or connect with? There's something to be said about that. Okay, let's get some cards here. I've just pulled Earth Pulsing, Pulse of the Mother. Ooh, slow down, time in nature, which is very interesting. And I say that word a lot. Maybe I should have a clock time of like how many times I say fucking interesting or interesting in this space. It is curious because before recording, I sat down and what the fuck, man? Um, for the first time in a long time, I went to ground my feet on grass and just just stood in the sun for a little bit, like actually grounded my feet and just took it all in. So maybe that is something that needs to be done right now. I don't know, but let's get some cards for here. Yeah, okay. Mid challenge. Okay. um, oh, okay. Okay. There's something about Horus, or it's spelled Horus, because this is now the second time that that card or that reference has come through. I'm going to read the cards in the order that it's in. So we've got a new earth. It's happening. Keep holding the vision. So this is current energy. These shifts are happening, and I find it very cool that there's a big as moon on this card, because I said we just had the full moon and there are major shifts happening. I don't know if you can feel it, but yeah, it's happening. Keep holding the vision. So, if we're looking at this from a meta scale, a grander scale, what is happening in our current political climate, right? We're seeing this power balance, power imbalance, this struggle between uh, the, let's just say it, the elite and the people. Or some might go deeper and see this battle, or this, let's use the word war because it's coming through, this quote unquote war between um, uh, the spiritual war, let's just put it that way. Whether or not you can sense this happening, it is happening. There's a massive shift, and this is why our climate is looking the way it does. And I don't mean in terms of weather, although that's also a thing. I mean the current social climate, like what is happening around the world. There is a shift happening, and generally before a big shift, this energy of transformation, and I'm thinking tower moment here, this is generally what happens. And it's interesting because in that pile is where I said the solar flare, right? So there's this, and I'm hearing the word conjuncting, there's this conjuncting almost um, energies. Hmm. Yeah, and in this card I'm seeing the sea or ocean, and then the air, the earth, right? So opposing factors, opposing energies, but really we're all the same thing. Like if we look at the yin and yang, it's one piece of this great puzzle, right? And the way we are conditioned is that it's either left, like right or wrong, good or bad, light dark, good evil, that kind of thing. And effectively, oh, why is that word being used? I don't know. Essentially, it's oneness. And yeah, I might move on from that. And then in the cards with the safe travel in conjunction, we've got you're not for everyone. Embrace your weirdness. Face your true north. Right? Is that what is feeling like somewhat conflicting right now or challenging? Is stepping into yourself, being yourself. What else was going to be said about that? Yeah, that definitely feels like what I was saying before about working together and meeting each other, maybe there's a sense that people won't accept you or judge you because you're weird or different, or but that's the beauty of it, right? We are all not, we're the same, but in this kind like form, or this, we all have different roles to play, as it is on this earth. We all have different roles to play, and perhaps our role we perceive as like, oh, we're this weird person, or this person that talks about esoteric systems and spirituality, or maybe we're talking about something completely different. But what's important is to not judge it, and to just accept it for what it is, and to meet each other in the middle, or meet each other halfway. There was also the cosmic heart, devotion, potency, make your life a moving prayer. That was piggybacking off the other card. So this is about really practicing stillness, practicing presence, practicing being here now in present moment, and connecting to yourself, connecting to who you really are, not this perception of weirdness that, if if that's what you're feeling about yourself, that, like, some of us tend to say sometimes, yeah, I'm not for everyone, I'm not everyone's cup of tea, I might be someone's cup of coffee. But I feel like that, even that mindset and that narrative needs to drop, right? We're not all the same. Let's get over it, and just move on and be like, okay, cool. We're not meant to be. Hello. Like, we're experiencing what we're experiencing because Grace wants to experience it. I hope that makes sense. But we're not, if we're meant to be one, like oneness, then what the fuck is the point of this whole projection, right? Okay, so let's move on to the insight that's already available to you. I've already shown you the transformation card. I've already shown you, maybe I have, maybe I haven't, the good fortune card. Now, some of us perceive this good fortune as, monetary value, or financial in nature, or what have you. Really investigate what good fortune, quote unquote, good fortune means for you. For me, it means peace of freaking mind, not overthinking everything, being in full surrender mode, and acknowledging and accepting and receiving the gift that is allotted to each and every one of us. That, for me, means good fortune. So, and not dealing with past life karmas, like, I feel very fortunate in, even though I've had some very interesting experiences in the past, I feel very fortunate to where I am now. So, and a lot of that has come through grace and unraveling from a lot of bullshit mindsets and limiting beliefs, and also attachments to a lot of stuff. So, exter- as perceived external things, that's what good fortune means to me. So maybe there's a need to really evaluate, what does good fortune mean to you, in terms of, to me, it's peace. It's absolute peace. And I mean, that is a wish. I wish upon everybody to be in that state of mind where shit just does not fucking get to you anymore. I mean, you're aware of it, you're observing it, but it doesn't send you down rabbit holes of destruction, Getting a very headachy feeling right now, so I'm just gonna take a couple of deep breaths. And we literally have the solar calm card here. Clarify. I feel like I want to read a little bit of that before I move on to that horrors card. Yeah. So I think I've only had this card once before. Okay, when the sun is calm with a few sunspots or solar flares, its steady energy is quiet and soothes any turbulence in our solar system. The volume is turned down on all the other aspects of your astrological chart. Telescopes see farther into space. People tend to search for the metaphysical. Plant growth slows down on Earth, but the arts and creative processes often blossom. Politics tend to be opinionated but quiet, attitudes more entrenched. It's a hard time to start a revolution. It continues by saying, just appreciate the deep, energizing quiet of this time. Work for steady progress and play the long game. Listen to your muse and support the arts. Take a creative approach and work toward positive change within the systems that are now in place with gentle, steady pressure. I love this card. Below, right at the bottom, it says meditation helps. Turn down the noise of the outer world and listen with clarity to the knowing within. Let go of the details of the story and feel the call to spirit, to connection, and to interconnectedness of all existence. In this quiet clarity, you can see far away to the distant stars and come to understand the overarching patterns. Bruh, because this is what I've been talking about in the last several videos. So if you feel so called to, by all means, check it out. But this is what I literally just spoke about good fortune and what good fortune means to me. It means just peace of mind and not having this overthinking and over processing and lots of shit going on in the mind. There's just, when you have calmness in the mind, when you detach from the mind, everything else simmers down. So there's something for sure to be said, and that this information is already available to you. It's just a matter of, hello, making your life a moving prayer, as in calming the fuck down, you know. And I don't mean necessarily out here, I mean within. Calming down within, calming down the mind. Maybe meditation works for you. Maybe just sitting in stillness works for you. Maybe journaling works for you. Find that peace that brings you closer to yourself. Okay, so the connection to Horus, the card says Star Brothers. Horus energy, protection, loyalty, safety, trust. So I know I've been reading a lot and I do apologize, but I do want to read this card because, what are you up to? We didn't even get to the tarot, so I might actually leave it because it was kind of, it was an afterthought when I thought about the cards that were going to be used. So I might leave it, but I do want to read you the Star Brothers. I've not read this card before. And I do feel it's important because of the fact that Horus is here twice. Okay, so you're more protected than you can imagine. It's safe to open the back of your heart. You're being called to be open to receiving a new level of support now from those in your life and from the benevolent beings you're connected with. Through ancestral patterning, current life traumas, and past life karmic impressions, many of us have become mistrustful and suspicious of loyalty and have blocks when it comes to receiving support. Have we not been talking about receiving, guys? Cannot make this shit up. Okay. We've learned that we need to let go, need to go at life alone. That it's not safe to let our guard down and our heart open, that the world isn't a friendly place. The Star Brothers want you to have a new experience of life on earth. They want you to feel deeply secure and safe even if you're going through a difficult time. They want you to hand over your fears to them, to see them as opportunities in more love. They're guiding you to stay open to receiving a greater level of support than you can ever imagine, both in this world and beyond. Guys, I'm getting slightly emotional and I'm going to pull out this card again for you to have a look at it. Conjunction, alliance. Even though you're not a bird, even if you're a frog, we're still in this together. To call in your team of loyal protectors and supporters, both physical and energetic, both physically and energetically. They want you to learn to soften through life's ups and downs and learn to open your heart, especially when it wants you to harden. So this is speaking to that feminine energy I was talking about, that being in a receptive state to allow people to help, to even be in a state of asking for help, you know. Wicked. Very, very cool. Very, very cool. I will, oh, I might just pull one tarot card, seeing as I do have the deck out. Oh, oh, oh gosh. Sorry about that. I might have to rethink this lapel situation. I'm really hoping that it doesn't mess with the audio, because I feel like this message is important. Okay, maybe just one. Okay. So, okay, I've got three that have come out. We've got the Nine of Swords. So this is being in that headiness, that overthinking space, too much thoughts going on. We've also got the Two of Swords. So being in middle space, right? Needing to, this is about internal conflict, which we spoke about with the power challenges, the power, what do you call that thing? It's like a tug of war in the world. This is a completion. This is the end of a chapter. So with this Two of Swords here, there is no decision necessarily that needs to be made. Okay, this is about just being in the space and allowing whatever is moving through to move through. It's about yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I feel like what this is speaking to is just being with what is, and dropping this idea of duality. And in this card, you know, the lesser of the two evils. Ideally, there's no real. It's a concept. I don't know if that makes sense. Maybe I should get one more on this. No, one, not 100. Knight of Swords in the reverse. So this is about being unfocused. This is about not having any direction. And maybe that's what you're feeling. Maybe that's part of this safe travels, because in the upright, this card speaks of fast paced energy, having direction, having a mission, so to speak. So funny that these forward moving cards are also in a backward sort of motion. So all I'm going to say is just allow, right? We can't always be in happy light and love energy. Sometimes we need to integrate the shadow. We need to integrate all the parts of us that are a little bit getting this texture vibe, like murky waters. Sometimes we need to actually go through the slowness, like the murky waters, to, you know, slow down. We had that card somewhere. Where was that? I think it was in this deck. To slow down and allow the lesson to how does that want to be said? Just allow it to unfold. Like, don't overthink it. Allow it to unfold. You're exactly where you're meant to be. You're not meant to be anywhere else but here, right now. So yeah, I hope that helped, guys. We have gone over time. I am sorry. But yeah, as I said, Gemini energy loves to talk. So yeah, take care of yourselves. Hopefully the audio is pretty well. If not, me sorry. Okay, I'm gonna go, guys. Otherwise, I'm just gonna get ahead of myself. Take care, and I will catch you in the next video. Mwah.